Hello students, today we will be seeing the second video on respiratory system, and that is of histology of lung. In the first video we had studied the histology of trachea. These are the two important slides for respiratory system. Now let us first see the bronchial tree. The trachea divides into principal or primary bronchi, and these are two, right and left. These then divide into secondary or lobar bronchi, 3 on the right side and 2 on the left side. And the secondary bronchi divide to give rise to tertiary or segmental bronchi, and these are 10 on each side. These tertiary bronchi then divide into numerous bronchioles, and after many generations of bronchioles, there are terminal bronchioles, and then finally we have the respiratory bronchiole that then leads into the alveolar duct and the alveoli. Now, up to the level of the terminal bronchiole, there is no gaseous exchange, so that is the conducting part of the respiratory system. The terminal bronchiole and distal to it is where the gaseous exchange occurs, hence that is the respiratory part. Let us now see lungs. These are a pair of respiratory organs that are principal site of gaseous exchange. Each lung consists of a pleural covering made up of mesothelium, connective tissue septae, and lung parenchyma with air passages. The lung parenchyma consists of bronchioles and alveoli. Principal bronchus, as we said, divides into lobar bronchus that enters the lung to form intrapulmonary bronchi. Intrapulmonary bronchi. These include secondary, that is lobar bronchi, and tertiary or segmental bronchi. Segmental bronchi divide into many small bronchi that finally form bronchiole. Diameter of less than 1 millimeter, and the bronchiole has no cartilage in the wall. Let us now see histology of intrapulmonary bronchus. The wall of an intrapulmonary bronchus shows the following layers from within outwards: mucosa, muscular layer, submucosa, cartilage, and adventitia. Mucosa shows a lining epithelium of pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium with goblet cells. Height of the epithelium decreases as the size of the bronchus decreases. The lamina propria contains many elastic fibers and seromucous glands. What we see here is a diagram of a transverse section through an intrapulmonary bronchus. And we appreciate the layers here. This is the luminal surface. What we see here is the mucosa. Next comes the muscle layer. Then is the submucosa, the cartilage layer, and finally the adventitia. So the mucosa here shows the lining epithelium and the lamina propria. Lining epithelium is pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium with goblet cells. These are the ciliated columnar cells, and these here are the goblet cells. The lamina propria shows seromucous glands and many elastic fibers. Lymphoid aggregates may also be seen here. So that is the mucosa. Next is the muscular layer. A complete circumferential layer of smooth muscle fibers is seen around the epithelium. Smooth muscle fibers are arranged spirally and maintain diameter of the air passage. This here is the muscular layer made up of a complete layer of spirally arranged smooth muscle fibers. Next we see the submucosa, which consists of loose connective tissue with seromucous glands. Then we see the cartilage layer. Intrapulmonary bronchus shows presence of discontinuous cartilage plates the primary bronchi show C-shaped single cartilage ring in the section similar to what we saw in trachea, and therein the muscle layer does not cover the entire circumference. This is how you differentiate between primary bronchus and intrapulmonary bronchus, which includes secondary and tertiary bronchi. The cartilage plates are made up of hyaline variety of cartilage, and they help to keep the bronchi open or patent. And lastly is the adventitia, a connective tissue layer containing blood vessels and lung parenchyma. So here we see the remaining three layers. The submucosa, which shows connective tissue, loose connective tissue with seromucous glands and blood vessels. And next is the cartilage layer, which shows discontinuous plates of hyaline variety of cartilage. So we see here the chondrocytes lying as cell nests surrounded by lacunae, homogeneous matrix, and the perichondrium showing the two layers, outer fibrous and inner cellular layer. So discontinuous plates of cartilage. And then we see the adventitia, which has connective tissue and lung parenchyma. So that was the structure of the intrapulmonary bronchus. We now go on to study bronchioles. Bronchioles are airway tubules having less than 1 millimeter of diameter. Their wall does not have cartilage and they do not have submucous glands. Few terms which we should know. Pulmonary lobule, a small part of bronchopulmonary segment that is supplied by a single bronchiole. Pulmonary acinus is a small part of lung that is supplied by a terminal bronchiole. And respiratory bronchiolar unit is a functional unit of the lung made up of a single respiratory bronchiole and alveoli supplied by it. Now we see the histology of bronchiole. The wall of the bronchiole consists of the following layers from within outwards. Only three layers here: mucosa, smooth muscle layer, and connective tissue layer. There is no cartilage layer seen here. Mucosa. The lining epithelium of the mucosa varies as we go from large size bronchiole down to a terminal bronchiole. A large bronchiole has lining epithelium of pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium with goblet cells. Medium-sized bronchiole is lined by simple ciliated columnar epithelium with few goblet cells, and terminal or smaller sized bronchioles are lined by simple cuboidal epithelium with clara cells, and they do not have goblet cells. This here we have a diagram showing us the lining epithelium of the three types of bronchiole. This is a large bronchiole lined by pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium with goblet cells, ciliated columnar epithelial cells, and this here is a goblet cell. Medium-sized bronchiole is lined by simple ciliated columnar epithelium with a few goblet cells, while a terminal bronchiole is lined by simple cuboidal epithelium with clara cells, and there are no goblet cells seen here. So we need to remember that bronchioles do not have cartilage in their wall. They do not have seromucous glands in the lamina propria. And terminal bronchioles do not have goblet cells in the lining epithelium. Clara cells. These are non-ciliated cells with many microvilli on their apical surface that are predominantly present in the terminal bronchiole. They replace goblet cells here. They secrete surface active protein agent and clara cell secretory protein CC16. Surface active agent reduces surface tension and also reduces collapsing tendency of airway passage. Smooth muscle layer predominant layer in the wall which regulates the passage of air through the bronchiole, and it is under the control of autonomic nervous system. Lastly, we have the connective tissue layer. A small amount of connective tissue separates the bronchioles from the adjacent structures. It is rich in elastic fibers that are responsible for the recoiling of the lungs. And this here is a diagram of a bronchiole, a terminal bronchiole, showing us the mucosa, the muscle layer, and the adventitia. Mucosa showing lining epithelium of simple cuboidal epithelium with sclera cells. Sclera cells not seen at a magnification of 10x or 40x, and they are not seen by H&E stain. Next, below the lining epithelium, we see the lamina propria made up of connective tissue, elastic fibers, a few lymphoid aggregates, and we do not see any seromucous glands here. The second layer is a layer of the muscle fibers, a layer of spirally arranged smooth muscle fibers, and outermost is the adventitia made up of loose connective tissue and the lung parenchyma. Respiratory bronchiole. This measures less than 0.5 mm in diameter. The bronchiole is lined by simple cuboidal epithelium with sclera cells. These cells gradually lose the cilia as one moves distally along the bronchial tree. Smooth muscle cells surround the epithelium. A layer of delicate connective tissue separates the bronchiole from adjacent structures. Respiratory bronchiole shows few alveolar outpouchings. Then we go on to study the alveolar duct and alveolar sac. Each respiratory bronchiole gives rise to 2 to 3 alveolar ducts. Each alveolar duct gives rise to a space called alveolar sac that is surrounded by a cluster of alveoli. The surrounding alveoli open into the alveolar sac. Alveoli, thin-walled, polyhedral, sac-like terminal air spaces of respiratory system that constitute the actual site of air exchange. Each lung has 150 to 250 million alveoli. Total surface area of alveoli is about 75 square meters. Size of each alveolus is about 200 micrometer in diameter. Alveolar septum. This is a thin layer of connective tissue that separates adjacent alveoli from each other. It contains blood capillaries, fibroblasts, and macrophages. The alveoli are lined by simple squamous epithelium along with type 1 pneumocytes, type 2 pneumocytes, and occasional brush cells. This here is a diagram of the alveoli. What we see here is the alveoli are lined by simple squamous epithelium along with the type 1 and type 2 pneumocytes. These are the type 1 pneumocytes, squamous cells, and these here are the type 2 pneumocytes, which are rounded or cuboidal cells. Type 1 pneumocytes constitute 95% of the cells seen in the alveoli. These are simple squamous cells connected with each other by occluding junctions. They do not undergo cell division. Type 2 pneumocytes constitute 5% of the cell population here in the alveoli. They are also called septal cells, great alveolar cells, or type 2 alveolar cells. These are cuboidal or rounded in shape with abundant cytoplasm. They produce surfactant dipalmitoyl phosphatidyl choline, DPPC. Surfactant reduces surface tension and keeps the alveoli open. They also act as progenitor for type 1 pneumocyte cells. Brush cells. These are occasionally seen and act as receptors to monitor quality of air entering the alveoli. We now see the blood-air barrier. Gaseous exchange between the alveolar air and blood occurs through the blood-air barrier, which consists of 4 layers. A thin layer of surfactant, simple squamous epithelium of the lung alveoli, fused basal lamina of alveolar epithelium and capillary endothelium, and the continuous or non-fenestrated capillary endothelium. We now see the differences between histology of bronchus and histology of a bronchiole. When we see the diameter, bronchus is more than 1 millimeter in diameter, bronchiole is less than 1 millimeter in diameter. Epithelial lining of a bronchus is pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium with goblet cells. When we see bronchiole, large bronchiole has the same lining epithelium as a bronchus, whereas medium bronchiole is lined by simple ciliated columnar epithelium with a few goblet cells, and the smaller bronchioles or terminal bronchioles are lined by simple cuboidal epithelium without any cilia and without goblet cells. When we talk of the smooth muscle layer, bronchus shows the smooth muscle layer which is present between the mucosa and the cartilage layer. In bronchiole, the smooth muscle layer is present between mucosa and adventitia. Cartilages. Bronchus has irregular plates of cartilage present. Cartilage is absent in the bronchiole. Seromucous glands in the bronchus are present in the submucosa and also seen in the lamina propria, while in the bronchiole, seromucous glands are absent. Thus, these are the diagrams of the bronchus and the bronchiole, so we can appreciate the difference between the two. The lining epithelium of the bronchus, as we see here, is pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium with goblet cells, while in a terminal bronchiole it is simple cuboidal epithelium. These are non-ciliated cells and they do not show the presence of goblet cells. Lamina propria shows seromucous glands here, and even we see seromucous glands in the submucosa. We do not see any seromucous glands in the bronchus. Discontinuous cartilage plates are seen in the bronchus, with no cartilage seen in the bronchiole. When we talk of the muscle layer, it lies between the mucosa and the submucosa or the cartilage layer, while in the bronchus, the smooth muscle layer is seen between the mucosa and adventitia. We now see the slide of lung. This is a low power view. What we see here is a transverse section of a intrapulmonary bronchus, showing the lining epithelium, the lamina propria, a thin layer of muscle, and discontinuous plates of hyaline cartilage and the adventitia. We also see the alveolar cells here. Alveoli with alveolar sacs are seen along with blood vessels. So the moment we see something like a bronchus, we should identify it as a slide of lung. Another view showing us again a transverse section through a bronchus, lining epithelium with lamina propria, a thin layer of smooth muscle fibers. These are the discontinuous plates of hyaline cartilage and a thin adventitia. Also seen here are the alveoli. Another low power view showing us a complete transverse section of a bronchus. We also see a small terminal bronchiole here, showing lining epithelium, a thick muscle layer, and a thin adventitia. A high power view showing us the alveoli, which are lined by squamous cells. This here is an aperio image-scope picture of a slide of lung. We see a complete clear view of a transverse section through a bronchus, showing all the layers, mucosa with lining epithelium and lamina propria. We see the submucosa, muscle layer, the discontinuous cartilage plates and adventitia. Another picture showing us a smaller bronchus with very few discontinuous cartilage plates. We also see blood vessels here in the parenchyma along with alveoli, alveolar sacs. The salient features for spotting for a slide of lung would be presence of intrapulmonary bronchus and bronchioles, presence of discontinuous plates of hyaline cartilage in the bronchus, and presence of simple squamous epithelium lining the pulmonary alveoli. Thus, we have studied the two important slides for respiratory system. In the first video, we saw the histology of trachea, and the second one we have seen histology of lung. For further reference, you can read Sontake Yogesh, Textbook of Human Histology by CBS Publishers and Distributors Private Limited, New Delhi, 2020, page numbers 167 to 182. Thank you.